Hey guys, today's the day. I'm having a rough morning. We were up pretty late last night trying to get this laser set up, and my fibromyalgia is kicking in, so I don't know if it's gonna rain in the next day or so, but I don't know, just feeling rough. So here she is in all her glory. I don't think we've really named the machine, but I suggested Big Red because hello, big and red. But I'm sorry, this is so wobbly. I'm going to try to stabilize it here. But I feel like the smartest, dumbest person right now because I'm afraid that I'm going to ruin this like $3,000 machine. So I'm like, do I even power it on right now? Because I think there's just so many questions I have and so many little things that like the manual doesn't tell you. And if you are considering one of these lasers, you have got to get into the Facebook Omtech group. There's one, it says Omtech like helps and tips or tricks or something like that. And you have to get in there because there's so many little tiny things that you can ask and people will answer right away. So I think we have everything set up, but like things that I have a question on are like, so the water pump goes separately by itself. So that's on and my tube is awesomely cool right now. So that's great. But like, does the exhaust fan come on by itself? Is there a switch for that? Because there's like two switches and it says basically the control panel and then the laser. So, and then there's a key and I guess I need to turn the key and then power it on. Like, I don't know. It doesn't even say do this. I mean, I need step by step. So, and I've watched videos and you definitely need to watch the videos. Like there are 3 people that run that Omtech group and their videos are invaluable. And if you found this, I'm going to start making a playlist of those videos so they're all in one place and you can just play them in the order that I think that they should go in based on what I'm doing. So today the goal is to, God, I look really rough. I'm sorry. There. Here, and I'm halfway in the sun. The sun's coming out. My goal is to cut the word home. I'm sorry. I'm like holding this. So here is my mock-up sad drawing of the word home. This is an actual laser file that I am doing for my son and his girlfriend for a welcome sign on their door. My goal is to cut that today, and then we are building a shelf, we've already decided, right where that red box, the red boxes, like we're gonna put a bracket on one side of the red box and then over there, and then like maybe a screw across the top. Moral of the story is if your camera tells you your battery's half, you don't have half, don't record. So anyway, I'm making a sign, a wooden sign for them, and home is the word I'm trying to do today. It'll be out of underlayment, which basically we have a bunch of because we had bought it for upstairs when we redid our kitchen. And so it's a 1/4 inch. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but we'll see if it cuts well or not. If not, I have just regular birch plywood, but I already don't like it. We can't find Baltic birch around here except for in big, huge sheets, and we don't have a truck right now to get it. And so anyway, that, and then my other thing is to engrave our logo on the shelf that we're going to be putting on the laser. So yeah. And I downloaded files from that group, and they are those little like burnable tiles where it goes how much power and speed, and like it has all the circles, and then it has another one has an engraving squares. So I'm gonna do those first. I don't know. I thought this came with laser glasses, so we didn't buy any, and it does not. So we need to buy some. That way I can use it with the lid open without the safety switch, but I don't know if I will for a while because the cat has decided that this thing is the greatest thing and she should sit on it always. So right now she's playing in the box on the floor. Momo, say hi. And yeah, so today, that's my goal. Cut something and engrave something on 1/4 inch wood. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, some things I've run into already when I went to flip the switch. First of all, I checked my lens and it was indeed upside down. So please check your focus lens before you do anything. I took that out, flipped it over. The concave side, the rounded side, you can barely tell, but it needs to be up. And also this little piece, I had to open this down here. This little fan, that's I guess right there in the door, is actually rubbing on wires inside and was making a weird noise. So I have to tape those wires away so that the fan can run and suck the air in to cool the whole unit. So here I am again. We have a problem. I switched on the controller and went to align my mirrors. I flipped the laser switch and no light. Well, I saw that some people didn't have a light, like it was just weird, but like the laser still worked. So I was like, well, you know, I went ahead and I set my speeds and everything, and I did a test fire and nothing. And I'm like, crap. So I open up the side and number 14 little switch, the little light like on the circuit board is flashing. I don't know what that means. The key is on for the laser, unless it was off and then it's on. Like I don't know, because nothing's labeled on this thing. This is why the group is vitally important. So I'm gonna play around with it while I'm waiting for a response from one of the admins, because they all have these lasers and they've had a bazillion people ask these same questions. So I'm just gonna fiddle around and play with it and see what we get. Hi guys, I have no idea where I left off with you before, but let me just tell you, it's been a trip and a half. It took me 2 hours to adjust my mirrors so that I would get good cuts. And yeah, so, oh, I remember, my laser wouldn't turn on. So here's the problem that I had is, I don't know if they put the switch in kind of crooked or what, but it came straight up and down. Well, for me, straight up and down is off, but apparently that is on. So what happened was my laser was really on, and when I turned the key, it turned it off. So that was the problem I was having. I went ahead and turned the key, laser started working, everything's cool. Then I spent the 2 hours aligning my mirrors, and I did a ramp test, and it turns out that around they give you this little piece of acrylic, and it's pretty much where mine needs to be. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. And now, instead of doing the little cards, I didn't do a card. I burned hello, and I burned my logo onto a piece of this wood. I'm going to be using that type of wood for the first 2 wood signs that I'm making, and I'm going to do it on my sign first, because first of all, the signs that I cut, I made into I think 15-inch rounds or 16-inch rounds, and I didn't do well cutting and making them perfectly round, so it doesn't look bad, but I'm going to cover the really awkward part with a bow and try to burn my thing on the back, and then I will do my logo on the back of the other one because I'm sure it will be better. But then it is on to the home sign where I was going to cut out the home. It has been I got up at 7 and it is noon, okay? So it's a huge learning curve, and you can watch all the videos you want, but as soon as this thing gets here, you're gonna be like, now what? And it's just so overwhelming. So just like take your time and relax, and just, you can do this. I swear you can. Ask a bunch of questions, get in the Omtech group. and don't feel like you're asking too many questions, because I feel bad that I'm bothering people because they have regular jobs and I'm like messaging them and I'm like, hey, I need your help. But everything is hunky-dory. So I'm gonna take you over to the machine real quick. So give me a second here. I gotta unhook you from the tripod. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. This little key is like slightly this way, and I thought it was just crooked. So I turned it, but it turned this way. So this is actually on and that way is off. Okay, oh, it's not, I'm sorry. There you go. This way's on and it will actually turn almost this way is off. And then here is what I'm doing. So the first thing I did was I did this hello up here, and it burned unevenly. So I upped the speed and left the burn the same, and it was still uneven. Sorry, now it's not wanting to focus. Okay, and then the third one was I upped the power and the speed, and it went decent. But this wood sucks because it's pine. And if you've seen my pyrography, I don't ever burn on pine. So here is the way my logo is turning out. Let me see if I can. You can see the feather on the left is way lighter than the feather on the right. But the middle looks decent. So I'm not sure if it's just a matter of, I'm sorry, whoo. I'm not sure if it's just a matter of the laser not having time to come back, or if it's just bad wood or whatever, but I'm just gonna try my best and do these wood signs. And if I get the home thing to turn out, then I totally will show you on here, because I have enough wood that I can spare some. I am going to do the cutting test for this material so that I know, like, it goes by speed and power on what to cut. So I am going to do that on that before I start the home one, but this one I can't because it's really thick material. It's like a ½ inch and I just want to engrave it anyway. So I might make it a vector because that's an image. Maybe that will help it some. I don't know, but just going to keep playing with it and just keep sticking with me on the video, man. I can do it. Okay guys, I know that it's loud, so I'm gonna try to talk loud, so hopefully it's okay, and I'll try to adjust it later. Wow, like, that's all I can say. The learning curve with this is super huge, and I was showing you earlier how I was making these cuts. Oops. And these were this is how it was turning out. So the problem that I was having was actually this did, and then this went okay, and then it started like doing this, and I just was just like, well, maybe there's something wrong that I don't know. So I tried to do cut test, and it would do okay with the circle. Like, I don't even know if I have the cut test board. Anyway, it would do okay with the circle, but when I would actually go to cut out a word, it wasn't working. And then all of a sudden it started cutting double. So let me grab the board real quick. Okay, so here's the cut that I tried to do. And it started like not engraving the way it's supposed to, and I'm like, I tested it on another little piece and it engraved fine, and then all of a sudden it started doing these doubles and it did nothing. So this, ignore this one. This was what it was doing. It was making double circles, and then all of a sudden it quit cutting altogether. And I was super frustrated, and I contacted people online. I'm like, now it's not cutting at all. Like, I was just super, super ticked off, frustrated. My son called me, then my husband called me, then my other son called me, and then my husband came home, and by the time he came home, I like ripped him a new one because I was just so super frustrated. And I had already walked away around noon when I had told you that I made the other clip. And so anyway, I came back to the laser and I just was like, someone told me to do an alignment again, and so I just started fresh and I did a whole new alignment, and this alignment took me another 2 hours because things just weren't working, and then all of a sudden they worked, and it has never cut better, let me tell you. Like, it is awesome. So I tried to do the test card with this board right here. So the problem that happened is, I don't know what the settings are in this, but this was a fill, so it like cut all the way through. But none of this was cutting out, and it was just super dark, and everything was just weird and what have you. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna get rid of this board. So I decided I'm just gonna cut some words, and I did. I ended up cutting out I did this little right here. So there's the back piece, which is separate from just this love piece. I cut this out, and I upped my power of where I thought it should go according to the other little circles. I just started cutting out little circles until I found what worked for me. And this underlayment board, because what I'm using is underlayment. And it's like, I think like maybe 3, I don't know, it's between like 1/8 and 1/4, somewhere in between there. And so I cut this out. My job's done. I cut this out, and it turned out really well. So I was just happy and everything. But I burned my logo on the back of 2 wood rounds, and I will show you that tomorrow.